When I saw the trailer for this show, I genuinely got hyped. It looked good. The music was hype, anything with Spider-Man was peak, and then we saw Blade do this. But then they showed Thanos, and I remembered, oh shit, yeah, this is a sequel to that What If episode from like 4 years ago. This might not be as good as I thought. So before we look at this show, I wanted to go back and look at that first episode of the show before getting into the actual new series. The expertly titled, What If Zombies. The episode starts with the beginning of Infinity War. We see Bruce seeing the world is empty, and Thanos' goons show up, and out of nowhere, Iron Man, Wong, and Strange come out of portals. And we get my first issue straight off the bat. Not only have you got those three superheroes as zombies, but we also got that evil Doctor Strange guy and Cole Obsidian also zombified now. And Doctor Strange's cape is able to take them all on 5v1. That is until some ants start eating them, just straight up. Hope is like, let's dip Bruce, and Spider-Man picks him up. By the way, those ants are never seen to be used like that again. Not sure why that amazing ability of eating the zombies is never used in any situation again, but sure. But also, speaking of those ants, how are they able to kill Iron Man with repulsors and two sorcerers? They've been shown that they have the ability to be able to use their powers. So if this is the case, that the ants can still go through them and eat them all, then the Ant-Man and the Wasp in the actual MCU could use ants to eat fucking anyone they want. The Watcher gives a quick rundown of what the virus is and where it came from. It all stems back to the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, where Janet Van Dyne got the virus in the quantum realm when she was stuck down there for 30 years. So I got my next question. So either she got it as soon as she went down there and has just been stood in place waiting for 30 years, and not a single person has come up to her, because we've seen in Quantumania that there's a ton of people down there, including Kang the fucking Conqueror. Or B, she just got it now. Like, she just got the virus just before Hank came down there, which is super unlucky, I suppose. After they both use the ship to come back, we see how the entire world starts getting overrun, and the Avengers come to help. Now let's have a quick look at this Avengers team. We got Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Black Panther. One quick thought of where we are in the timeline, and we're just before Infinity War. So Cap, Hawkeye, and Black Widow are all on the run right now with Falcon. And realistically, if there was a zombie outbreak, I can see them rejoining to help. But where is Falcon? And where is anyone that would be on Iron Man's team? No War Machine, no Spider-Man, no Vision. And I also don't think I could see Black Panther coming to help. If there was a virus taking over the entire world, I think Black Panther would stay in Wakanda to defend his place. Yes, at the end of this movie, he said we're going to open up the gates to Wakanda and let more people know about it, but I don't think he would leave his home at risk of leaving it for zombies to come in and take it over, which we see does happen. We see them get fucked up instantly. Not a single one is able to hold their own, which makes no sense. Why the fuck in an actual battle would Hawkeye and Black Widow both go into a crowd of zombies? Why would Iron Man stand on the ground when he can literally fucking fly? And the Watcher's just like,
no one else stood a chance.
Yeah, because you forgot to write the characters to actually be smart, and instead just wanted to rush past where the actual important characters are, and instead go to the funny Zombieland style How to Survive type video, commentated by Spider-Man in universe as well. Like this isn't just like a commentation that was made for the episode. This is a real life video he made in the universe. I think the writers of this episode saw the video at the beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming and thought, if we do this with a funny intro to the rules on who's the team right now and how to survive. But that, if I'm being honest, is a complete assassination of Spider-Man's character. We've already seen that Iron Man is dead. Later we find out that Aunt May is as well. So assumably so is Ned and anyone else in his school. He would not be happy and smiling like this, making joke videos. We then see their bases being held up by webs, which, if we've learned anything from Homecoming, only lasts 2 hours.
Hey, that's gonna dissolve in 2 hours.
So are they remaking their base every 2 hours because it's gonna fall? Or what's happening there? We also live in a universe where there are zombies that can fly, so it's not really a secure base at all. We then get some zombie action. Happy is just played out for laughs, not a single person taking any of this seriously. Then we get this.
That was your friend. Sorry about that.
I should be sad, but I'm not.
Which again is just completely out of character. They have a rivalry in the movies and the TV show, but him not caring about Falcon dying is just out of character completely. And we get the exact same thing a few minutes later. Bucky comes face to face with Captain America, who's already a zombie, and just makes a quick quip.
Sorry, pal. Guess this is the end of the line.
This is his best friend, the only person he has left from his past, and he just doesn't give a shit that he's a zombie. Speaking of this sequence, he has a gun and uses it to run towards Captain America, who's holding a shield up, just to go close to the zombie to have a one-on-one hand fight with it. Yet again, he just throws Sharon Carter to the side, not giving a fuck about this person. This is one of the only people that was alive in the zombie apocalypse, and they just turned to a zombie, and he doesn't care, he just throws him to the side. Wasp finishes off Sharon by exploding the inside of her, then does the dumbest thing ever by taking off her mask while being covered in zombie blood and guts. All things that presumably could infect you if you consumed it. But she got a scratch mark anyway, so it doesn't matter. Hope and Peter have a few flirty moments throughout the episode. She's 38 and he's 16. We'll assume it's not actually flirting, just wholesome moments for her sake. They do this emotional self-sacrifice moment, put a little counter in the corner for self-sacrifices, which isn't earned at all, but at least this fucking weirdo who flirts with 16-year-olds going,
Peter, smile for me, okay?
never mind, she has one more fucking weird line to say before she dips. We then meet Vision, whose Mind Stone has been making the zombies not want to go anywhere near him, and who's been trying to cure the virus, and did so to Scott Lang's head. Just his head. I ain't even gonna question how he did that shit. How's he breathing? How's he eating? You know, he has nothing but a brain, but sure, whatever. Bucky finds Wanda in a prison and Black Panther on an operating table with his leg chopped off. They go up to Vision like, what the fuck's up with this? And he explains how he's been keeping her because he loves her, and he's been feeding her slowly, and he can't cure because she's too powerful. Not sure why the Mind Stone doesn't affect her to make her want to leave as well, but maybe she's just too strong or something as well. We then see that she broke out of her glass prison, so it was never really a prison. And Vision says,
She hasn't eaten in days.
so what the fuck have you been doing to T'Challa? Either A, you're lying because you've been feeding him to Wanda apparently, or B, he's been sitting on that operating table just waiting to be fed to Wanda again, not bleeding out or starving or dying of dehydration. As soon as she gets out and sees them all, she doesn't start feeding, she just starts killing them. And now, after killing multiple humans, Vision has a change of hearts. He's just been feeding people to Wanda, but now he's seeing it in person. No, he needs to help them out. He needs to get them out of there. He used his laser to go around the building to make it full, which makes no structural sense at all. That's not how buildings work. And then he commits suicide because he doesn't want to see Wanda die. So he felt bad for killing people, but not bad enough to help them leave. They just wanted to leave him in this fucking mess of a situation. And when he takes the stone out as well, zombies aren't annoyed by the stone anymore, which also doesn't make any sense. Apparently the stone's frequency is the thing making them not want to come inside the compound. But it's not working when they take the stone out or whatever. What the fuck is the reason behind that? It's still a stone. It's still an infinity stone. Bucky gets thrown by Wanda instead of biting him or feeding on him. And then the Hulk hulks out, starts scrapping all the zombies to give them time to escape. Here's another self-sacrifice counter. And they head over to Wakanda, where they see Thanos has already shown up there and is infected as a zombie, which is also questionable on why the fuck is he there. First off, he has all the stones except the Mind Stone, so he supposedly got the Time Stone from Doctor Strange before getting these. And we saw Strange with the Eye of Agamotto in the beginning, so I guess Thanos either went there himself to go pick it up or sent over one of the two other goons he has to go get it. Either way, he then went to Wakanda. Now in the movie, he went there because that's where the Mind Stone was. Vision was getting operated there to try and get the Mind Stone out without killing him. They haven't even got to Wakanda yet, so I don't know why he'd ever be in Wakanda already. And all my nitpicks aside, the tone of the episode is the biggest issue. The Marvel Zombies universe is meant to be the worst timeline that could happen. No matter how hard the heroes have worked, trained, become the best things they could be, the world is taken away from them, destroyed, and everyone they care about is killed. And not by some villain, not by some plots to destroy the world, no, just by a virus that has no feelings, no emotions, just hunger. But they crack a joke every 2 seconds. A death is never taken seriously. Every character close to someone who is in this episode dies in front of their eyes, and they don't care. Spider-Man unhappy, Bucky with Falcon and Cap. Only T'Challa reacts to Okoye's death for 2 seconds, then moves on. So I want to take a moment to speak about my favorite bit of Marvel Zombies comics, the opening to Marvel Zombies Return from 2009, to compare the storytelling, character writing, and action we see from the characters in it. After the original Marvel Zombies comics, we learn the zombies, after not eating long enough, regain their consciousness and start basically acting like normal humans again, just with their dead zombie bodies. And after a lot of convoluted events, some Marvel zombies get cosmic powers, teleporting them to other universes. We follow zombie Spider-Man in a new universe. This universe is just a classic Marvel timeline with Peter Parker in high school and he's secretly Spider-Man on the side. Zombie Spider-Man in this universe sees the Sinister Six all causing chaos as usual, so zombie Spider-Man decides to help out and save the day, feeling he owes the universe for eating people before he regained his consciousness. He doesn't have his web shooters because it's been years since he became a zombie, so he uses his goddamn veins as webs to swing around. As he sees Kraven the Hunter, his specific scent makes Spider-Man feel the hunger again, and the zombie side of him takes over. He bites Kraven's throat out, punches Mysterio through the head, ripping his brain out, uses Electro's electricity to electrocute Doc Ock, rips Vulture's arm straight off, and then rips Electro's head off. Sandman, being the only one left, isn't really able to be fucked up by Spider-Man, being sand and all, so he gets the fuck out of there. While he's running away, he sees this universe's Spider-Man in an alleyway. Spider-Man is his normal quippy self, but Sandman doesn't wait around. He just beats the ever-living shit out of him, not knowing the difference between him and the zombie Spider-Man. He doesn't even know there's two of them. He then fills his body full of sand, screaming, "If you want to eat someone, eat this," until Spider-Man's stomach expands so much, he just pops, with his bones and organs flying out from the pressure within his body. We go back to zombie Spider-Man, who after feeding, decides he'll eat all the bad guys to feed his zombie hunger. Then he can still be a good guy and save civilians as well, just by eating the villains instead of locking them up behind bars. But as he looks back, all the Sinister Six members he just just killed have turned into zombies and started killing all the civilians he just saved. So in a rage, he kills every one of them, and still angry, he takes his mask off, proclaiming he isn't a superhero, not with this zombie face, and starts ripping his own face off, taking all the skin off, leaving just muscle, leaving his skin in a trash can, recreating the iconic Spider-Man comic panel that has been recreated countless times. This was 18 pages of a comic, and yet this had more gore, more action, more emotion than the entire 40-minute episode of What If. Yes, I accidentally spent 10 minutes on the What If episode, and haven't even started the actual show yet, so please subscribe if you have listened to me yet for this long, and let's not dilly-dally any longer and get into nitpicking this new show. Marvel Zombies, after 4 years, is it as bad as the first episode? No, actually. It has everything the What If episode was missing. Emotion, action, death. It's still haunted with that Marvel quippiness, but when action is happening, it's a lot less, so they got that going for it at least. The first episode starts quite slow. We follow a young Avengers style group, and it's giving the exact same what if energy of too much quippiness and not enough emotions, because the world has fucking ended. Why are they making this many jokes? That is until Kate gets fucked up. Then I sat up in my seat and was like, oh, okay, they're cooking something up here. Especially through Kamala, who actually showed emotions. She seemed like she really cared about her friend dying, which is something the What If episode never really understood how to do. Seeing the world building as well of these two unbeatable forces fighting forever through Captain Marvel and Icarus is very nice to see. I just like to see this world being lived in, what's going on with all these characters. Also, I really like seeing some Eternals, seeing as they have just been forgotten by Marvel. We learn all this lore from Blade Moon Knight, which is a weird choice, I won't lie, from the writer's perspective. We barely have seen Moon Knight up to this point in the MCU, and we've never seen Blade, so it's a bit strange, but it's cool either way. He's a cool character. We also learn how Wanda is the so-called queen of the zombies, and is mind controlling them, basically making the zombies become their comic accurate versions of themselves, making them more smart and be able to use their powers a lot better. Ghost's zombie is very well utilized, which is really nice to see. Every action sequence with them is super clean and just sick, with the lack of better words. It's just a shame we saw her death in the trailer. They learn about this little device thing, which is a way to contact the Novacore. Supposedly they will help them save the Earth, which if I remember correctly, Thanos would have already fucked up the Novacore back in Infinity War, because that's where he got the Power Stone from. Again, we have another scene of characters having emotions, this time due to Red Guardian's missus self-sacrificing herself. Let's get another little counter up there. Episode 2's intro sequence is very good. They should have started the show with this. We finally see an actual sequence of the zombie apocalypse starting, and people in a panic, and death and destruction, the whole shebang. We follow Shang-Chi, and we get just full-on non-stop them running with just shit after shit trying to get in their way. I'm not sure why there's giant zombies for. I get that Hank Pym's office got destroyed when the zombie outbreak happened, but what caused giant zombies? It's never really explained. We get the rest of the main cast from Shang-Chi come in helicopters. Wenwu self-sacrifices himself, which I'm not sure he would do at this point in his story, but I'll believe it. Whatever. But I don't believe, though, he would do the Man of Steel self-sacrifice of fucking standing there and just not saving himself. He could have, ran away or used his many skills to try and fight the zombies off, but no. He just let the zombies eat him. I'm gonna count that as another self-sacrifice counter. When we jump to the future, I like, again, more world building of Skrulls being little bitches on the Earth, basically being their own little group. They don't need to hide themselves with Skrulls anymore because the whole fucking world's gone into apocalypse, and they're not gonna be befriended by the humans anyway, so they just got their own little group going on. They have a little rivalry with the humans sometimes. I like that world building. It's just nice to see. But the scene it's in, I don't love. It's just kind of cringy seeing them fucking singing on the road. I won't lie. Again, it's a fucking zombie apocalypse. Why are they so happy all the time? Anyways, Zemo seems to be running the raft now, which is cool. I wish we had more bad guy cameos here, but it's just a shame the MCU kills every single villain they have in the movies. Everything with Namor is also just well done. Nothing really to say except we got another self-sacrifice moment. And they mentioned how they need to get to New Asgard to get a ship, to get to space to use their little device thingy. But New Asgard was created during the blip between Infinity War and Endgame. So canonically, why would there be a New Asgard? Without Thor bringing them there personally, I don't see them making a New Asgard on Earth. I know he said that they were going to set sail to Earth during Ragnarok, but when they finally got to Earth in their big ship, do you think they'd really be like, oh, looks like everyone's zombies here. Let's just settle down in a little cave. Episode 3 starts where What If left off. We get Spider-Man narrating a quick sum up of what happens. It's nice to see Thor coming down accurately to Infinity War. Again, not sure why Thanos is even in Wakanda, or how he showed up here before Thor. If we are just assuming that he was always going to go to Wakanda for whatever reason, how did he get here before Thor? Inside of the movie, Thor got here and then 10 minutes later Thanos showed up. It just doesn't make sense timeline-wise, but whatever. Thor, Rocket, and Groot all show up running straight towards Thanos in a perfect line, and they all get hit, killing Groot and Rocket instantly. And it really fucks up Thor as well. They're all smart guys who have fought a lot of people. Why would they do this? It's just lazy writing, I won't lie. After this, Spider-Man yanks Stormbreaker and uses it himself himself, which I don't think he's able to do because either you need to be worthy or it's too powerful, it's gonna kill you. Both of those things would fuck Spider-Man up, but sure, let's just entertain this for 1 second because I know Stormbreaker isn't able to be destroyed by the Power Stone. In Infinity War, the exact same scenario happens, of Stormbreaker getting thrown at Thanos and he uses all 6 Infinity Stones to try and stop it and nothing happens. Yet with just the Power Stone, he can just disintegrate it. Also, jumping ahead a little bit here, spoilers, we see Zombie Thor in the last episode summon Stormbreaker, which we saw Thanos disintegrate. Not amazing continuity there, mate, but we'll carry on. Then we get Black Panther's whole self-sacrifice thingy, and he kills Thanos by pushing him into this pit. I didn't know Thanos was this just so goddamn easy to kill. I don't know why they didn't do this in Infinity War. When we get back to all of our main heroes, we have this scene of Khonshu convincing Valkyrie, which just got me cracking up, I won't lie, it was just funny seeing him. And everything that came with New Asgard was also just very well done. I have literally no issues, kind of. I'm not sure how Wanda managed to convince them to let her in because they didn't want anyone coming in. It took a goddamn god to come face to face with them to let our little ragtag group to come in. Did Wanda just be like, yo, I got food, you want to eat this food? And that was enough for them? But I can't fault anything else here. It was tense and action-packed. Thor didn't really do a lot. I feel like he might have sat up a little bit when everyone started dying, but whatever. I actually felt some emotions when Alexei died, I won't lie. I didn't cry, but there was something going on inside. But we do get another self-sacrifice to the counter through Thor. Speaking of this self-sacrifice, was a 1v1 through Thor and Wanda. Wanda would beat the fucking living shit out of Thor. I love Thor, he's a great guy, and he's a strong guy. Wanda's gonna fuck him up if they actually had a fight to the death. But he holds his own for some reason, I don't know. Bad writing, I guess. They then get to space, and after every single Asgardian just died, surely Valkyrie would have something sad to say.
This yellow one?
No.
Oh, that one right there?
The other yellow one.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess they just forgot how to write emotions again. We get this twist of how the Novacore knew about the planet having an infection and just didn't want anyone leaving or coming in and just sort of blocking it off. I do like this, although the Novacore was destroyed in Infinity War apparently, but whatever. The Novacore are like, please go back to your planet, you know, fuck off back to your planet, please. We'll give you a little bit of time, you have 10 seconds. And in the next episode, they don't go back to the planet straight away and they start shooting at them. And Valkyrie says,
They could have asked us nicely.
they literally said,
return to the surface or be destroyed. You have 10 seconds to comply.
They gave you a time limit of how long you have to go back to your planet. They gave you a chance and you didn't. So, you know, what the fuck do you think's gonna happen? As they are falling back to Earth though, I like her line here.
I wonder if this is considered dying in battle.
It's a funny line. It's very lore accurate to what she would probably say in this scenario. I like this. This is very good writing here. They have a hit or miss if the writing's really bad or really good. It's a flip of the coin, really. We then go over to the Wizard Place from Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, where Spider-Man and Scott Lang have just been hanging out for the past 5 years, I guess. Scott is still an annoying piece of shit who just cracks unfunny jokes and during a fucking zombie apocalypse where everyone's fucking dead, but sure, whatever. We learn that after the Infinity Stones exploded, all of the power was just destroying everything, and Bruce self-sacrificed himself. Again, he did 2 in this show. That's like crazy. Becoming the Hulk and holding the power in one place. We saw what happened to him in Endgame when he snapped his fingers once. You think he'd be able to hold all that power within inside of him and not fucking die instantly? Wanda now thinks she's controlling enough zombies to have a big enough army to take down Hulk with infinity power. Sure, whatever. And she starts sending a bunch of soldiers at her, starts shooting a bunch of guns, a whole thing. But if I'm being honest, I don't think, even with the nerfed Hulk we have in the MCU, this would be enough to take down the actual Hulk. Especially when he has Infinity Stones powers. But somehow, he gets fucked up. He's on his fucking knees like owie 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 with a bunch of scratch marks. Hulk is like impenetrable. How has this happened? We then get a little gang coming through portals having this whole like almost endgame parallel scene where it's a little group of heroes versus Wanda and her big zombie group. And we got a few sorcerers from the whole Doctor Strange place and they're not using their magic enough. They did some bits of sorcery here and there, but they're capable of so much more. And this seems like a pretty important situation where you can do some big magic tricks, like multiplying yourselves multiple times to start throwing shit at them, or chuck them in the mirror dimension or something. I don't know, I'm not a sorcerer, but you are, do something. Now, I can't lie, this bit was just peak cinema, and this bit, there's a lot of good stuff in here, I won't lie. Through the bad writing, there are some peak scenes. Wanda then tries to get into Kamala's mind, just by manipulating her, not by any sort of mind control powers which she has, we've seen her do, but instead by words, because words are the most powerful thing. We then get to that scene of Thor breaking continuity by summoning Stormbreaker to have a one-on-one fight with Hulk. This was a very cool fight, I won't lie, but during this, sadly, Blade gets killed. I haven't spoke too much about Blade, but he was just a very cool character throughout. He always knew what was coming up, Khonshu in his head and him being Blade himself. This just felt out of character to him get just hit by a laser and just die instantly. He would have dodged that shit, come on now. Then the final sequence of all the heroes heroes losing is very good. It's just nice. I love an ending where the heroes loses. It's just nice to see sometimes, and just one by one them all fucking dying. That's good. The ending itself is just sort of meh. It leaves more questions than answers, and I think that's the point, but it's a bit too ambiguous for my liking. We never saw Riri die, and she kind of seemed to like take the cure the last time we saw her, but in the context of the universe, what's happening is just confusing, because it suggests that Kamala is sat down in the boba place in real life surrounded by zombies, just being tricked by the Scarlet Witch that it's actually just all normal universe with her drinking boba tea with her besties. So the zombies just could come up to her at any moment and bite her and just break that illusion, or maybe Wanda has this whole thing where the zombies don't want to mess with her. But if that's the case, how is Spell breaking through and Riri going through so easily? She a real bad magician, I won't lie. Also, where did Riri come from? She was in the middle of nowhere last time we saw her, and now she's back in Jersey. But the ending wasn't bad overall, and the show wasn't bad overall. I gotta give it credit where credit is due. This was 100 times better than that What If episode. And the idea of giving these smaller characters like Kamala and Shang-Chi the spotlight is good. But I do think in the actual MCU, they should be bigger characters, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But I still can't help but feel that this show was a bit of a waste. These episodes aren't bad TV, but they feel so limited by two factors. They've obviously been limited to the mainline MCU characters, meaning we're missing hundreds of very interesting characters from the comics that would be effective to the story. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and because the MCU is so limited at this point especially, none of the characters met each other yet. For example, Namor has never met anyone in the MCU at this point, so when he comes into the raft, no one knows who the fuck he is except for Blade because he knows everything, except for when a big laser's about to hit him, he doesn't know that. I do get that making a show about Marvel zombies makes the most sense to follow the MCU, but I just think it's a shame because we're not exactly going to get a more comic accurate cast of characters telling a Marvel zombie story ever, or at least not for a few decades due to this just being made. And my second point, it's also a shame that this is, instead of making its own story, decided to follow the fucking god-awful What If episode, meaning that this is how the fucking Marvel Zombies timeline's Avengers died. This is how our Bucky reacted seeing his best friend becoming a zombie, and so on. It leaves the writers of this show limited to what our story is written for them from that What If episode, meaning they can't get dramatic, emotional scenes of our favorite MCU characters, seeing this zombie virus and them falling to it eventually. To those who say, yeah, but this is not a story about them, I agree, and this show doesn't have to be a story about them, but this, after all, is an MCU story about Marvel zombies, and you can't deny that the original Avengers are the main characters people feel the most attached to and want to see the most, so a scene of them working together and losing dramatically would do wonders for the audience. Instead, we get this scene of Cap getting bits like as if it's a bug and goes, ouch, and Iron Man getting overrun by zombies because he forgot he could fucking fly. So overall, this show wasn't bad for what it had going for it. The limits the show was given from its episode 1 and its limited cast through the MCU, they did very well for what they had. But that doesn't mean I don't think this show could have been so much more if they didn't have those limitations. Which means I kind of do think, sadly, this show was a bit of a waste of potential.